So if you run a business or you lead a marketing team, or really if you just exist in the digital world, you've felt this.
Oh, for sure.
That sinking feeling when you realize your website, the one that was so beautiful and expensive.
The one that felt so modern just 18 months ago.
Exactly. And suddenly it's just tired. It feels old. And that proposal for a full rebuild is already on your desk.
It's this cycle of constant digital exhaustion, and it costs businesses millions in wasted effort. So we have to ask the question, is this normal? Or is the industry just stuck in a really costly, low-return loop?
That is the core of our mission today. We're doing a deep dive, pulling back the curtain on what really makes a digital presence last, and it goes so far beyond just pixels and pretty colors.
Yeah, we've been analyzing some really critical excerpts from the future of web design to figure out why chasing visual trends just isn't working for long-term success.
And the sources hit you with this powerful thesis right from the start. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a statement that really challenges almost every design brief from the last decade.
It really does. Here it is. If your website needs a redesign every 18 months, the problem isn't your visuals, it's your foundation.
Mm-hmm. That hits hard.
It does, because for so many businesses, the visual look is where all the focus goes. All the meetings, all the budget. We're mistaking decoration for architecture.
Well, let's unpack that because the
Yeah.
research identifies a very clear, very repetitive three-step pattern that businesses fall into, and it's all about aesthetics.
Okay, so the trap starts with step one. A new visual trend emerges. The design blogs start buzzing, conferences are all about the latest aesthetic.
Right, whether it's super stylized minimalism or these really dense interactive animations.
Then step two follows right away. The full redesign gets launched.
Yeah.
Teams scramble, they adopt this new visual language, and they sink massive amounts of time and budget into it.
And they're thinking that this fresh coat of paint will be the thing, the solution to their flat conversion rates.
And then you get the inevitable, really disappointing step three. The exact same results come back.
Key metrics plateau, users disengage, and that crushing feeling sets in that you need to start budgeting for the next redesign. That's the trend trap.
What's so fascinating is just the speed at which visuals age compared to, the actual business strategy. We've seen entire cycles burn out in less than 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the hyper-realistic textures of skeuomorphism? Those detailed embossed buttons that look like they were made of actual glass or leather?
I do. My first digital portfolio was full of that stuff, a time of completely unnecessary depth.
Exactly. And that gave way so fast to the sharp simplicity of flat design, which then evolved into Google's structured material design.
And then, in this kind of aesthetic rebellion, we swung completely the other way toward the purposeful ugliness of brutalism.
Now we're in this weird neo-retro loop.
Right. The chunky 90s pixels, the slightly dated gradients, these fragmented layouts that feel fresh only because they're so self-aware.
They cycle faster than any website can possibly get a meaningful ROI. You finish the expensive rebuild, and a new trend has already popped up, making you feel outdated immediately.
So the consequence of all that trend chasing is it's profound.
It is. Visual updates without a strategic foundation create fragile systems, rising costs, and wildly inconsistent conversion rates.
Which brings us to this conclusion from the sources, and it's unavoidable. Design that depends on trends depends on luck.
That is a tough truth to swallow. It really is. Because it forces companies to look inward. And we have to address this core misconception.
The idea that our site looks outdated is the main problem.
Exactly. But the research shows people don't abandon your site because it's ugly. They leave because it's fundamentally uncomfortable or frustrating to use. The problem is almost never the color palette, it's the broken experience.
The sources detail 3. Let's call them structural factors that really break user journeys no matter how trendy the visuals are.
First, and this is probably the most frequent one, is navigation confusion.
This is the user just trying to find something simple, a pricing page, a support article. But the menu is a maze of jargon. They can't do when they came to do, they get frustrated, they leave.
That moment of cognitive overload is exactly where money is lost.
Totally. The second one is friction points.
Yeah, and a friction point isn't just a slow page load. It's a failure of interaction. It's a checkout form that clears all your info when you accidentally hit the back button.
Or a pop-up that covers the exact thing you were trying to read.
Yes. The pages hesitate, the forms frustrate, and the whole thing feels like the site is actively wasting your time.
And third, missing trust signals.
This one is huge. The visuals might be stunning, award-winning even, But if the site is full of broken links or blurry images or the copy has glaring typos,
Users just sense something that's off.
right, they question the legitimacy of the whole operation. And their willingness to share, say, a credit card number just evaporates. We have to remember that users feel performance and comfort long before they consciously evaluate the aesthetic.
So if you're just solving a visual problem when the real issue is a breakdown in trust or usability,
You're applying expensive makeup to a leaky dam.
it's prioritizing integrity over that immediate appeal. And actually, we want to know what you think. What's the last site you abandoned just because it was frustrating to use, regardless of how pretty it looked?
Was it the navigation maze? The endless pop-ups?
Let us know. Drop a comment below and share your worst experience. We'd love to see where the real pain points are for you.
Okay, so let's pivot. Let's talk about the new mindset that actually works for longevity.
The sources contrast the two approaches so perfectly. The old mindset was just fixated on aesthetics, on polish, on trends. It was always asking, what does it look like?
But the new mindset shifts that focus completely. It moves towards structure and the human experience. It's all about comfort, clarity, and success. And it asks the much more critical question.
What does it feel like to use? And, does it actually help the user achieve their goal?
That shift from appearance to emotional experience, that's where genuine, lasting value is created.
And the ultimate goal of great design, according to our sources, is captured in this one maxim: good design removes thinking, great design removes doubt.
When we talk about removing doubt, we're really talking about creating a state of cognitive ease for the user. And that defines this new skill set of user-centered design. It's all about prioritizing usability over some sleeting trend.
And this approach is built on 4 key elements. The first one is predictability.
Users should know exactly what to expect. If they click a button, the result shouldn't be a surprise. That consistency builds comfort.
Second is cognitive ease. This is the difference between a site that feels like work and one that feels effortless.
Right. Decisions should feel natural. The user shouldn't have to struggle to figure out what to do next. And we get there with things like solid information architecture or by following established UX patterns like the logo in the top left. You lean on principles that reduce the mental friction.
Third is intent-based flow. The user's path has to match what they came to do.
Yes. If they're there to buy something specific, don't distract them with irrelevant content or confusing cross-sells. Just streamline their journey to completion.
And the fourth, which I think is the most important, is empathy-driven decisions.
Absolutely. Every single choice, from the size of a form field to the tone of an error message, has to consider real human needs. It's about anticipating failure and gracefully guiding the user to success. That's the foundation for a site that doesn't depreciate.
Okay, so I get the concept of the experience architect, but for a lot of our listeners, they're still just trying to get sign-off for basic design debt. How do we sell this long-term thinking when the CEO just saw a competitor's flashy homepage and is asking, why don't we look like that?
You sell it with the one concept that underlies all this research: longevity equals lower cost. You shift the conversation from a one-time aesthetic expense to a structural investment that compounds value.
So you use the numbers.
Yes, exactly. You say, a site built on predictability requires 80% less maintenance. It converts 30% more reliably. You quantify the cost of that 18-month redesign cycle and show how these pillars we're about to discuss eliminate that debt. It's strategy over shiny objects.
Speaking of those pillars, before we jump into the 3 foundational pillars of future-proof design, which are absolutely essential for longevity, if you are finding these insights valuable and you want more deep dives that cut through the noise, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, you really don't want to miss all the new stuff coming out on the YouTube NCWEBDE channel.
Okay, let's talk about the bedrock. We're moving from surface-level decoration to structural engineering.
These are the 3 pillars that ensure your investment actually strengthens over time, instead of just falling apart every couple of years.
And pillar number 1 is accessibility. The source material is it's unequivocal on this. Designing for everyone is not optional anymore.
No, it's not a moral obligation or a compliance hurdle. It's the essential baseline of quality engineering. It has to be a mindset that shapes every decision, not a checklist you run through at the end.
And this is where the strategic advantage really comes in, right? Because it's not just about legal protection.
Not at all. The real benefit is universal design. High contrast, clear typography, logical structure that doesn't just help users with impairments, it helps every user.
Like someone browsing in bright sunlight on their phone, or someone on an old, slow device.
Exactly. Accessibility standards benefit them all. And you can't overlook the technical win. When you use proper semantic HTML for accessibility, you're automatically helping search engines understand and rank your pages better.
Good accessibility is just good SEO by default. It's a foundational win-win.
And the future-proof insight here is that accessibility scales. It works across devices, contexts, screen readers, voice control. Visual trends can't do that. They're rigid.
Which moves us to pillar number 2, performance. If accessibility is the mindset, performance is the new measurable aesthetic.
Absolutely. Speed equals trust. Delay equals abandonment.
And you feel performance instantly, often before the design is even loaded. A site that loads fast feels professional, reliable.
And conversely, there's this powerful quote from the source. A beautiful site that loads slowly feels broken.
Oh, that feeling of broken is so real. You see the polished visuals stuttering in, and the result is just disappointment. It doesn't matter how great it looks if it wastes your time.
And the research directly links bounce rates to every fraction of a second of load time.
Modern UX is defined by these non-negotiable performance priorities. It has to load fast. It has to have responsive interaction. And crucially, visual stability. None of that text jumping around after the page seems loaded.
Those core web vitals, that's the modern definition of user comfort.
So performance is trust. And if a beautiful site feels broken when it loads slowly, what's your personal threshold? How long are you truly willing to wait for a key page, a checkout screen maybe, before you leave?
Yeah, let us know in the comments. That tiny fraction of a second is what defines user retention today.
Which brings us to pillar number 3, scalability. And this is the difference between building a static poster and building a flexible, dynamic platform.
Our sources describe this shift perfectly. You move from focusing on static pages, asking, does this page look good, to focusing on flexible systems, where you ask, does this system adapt?
Future-proof sites are built like interconnected platforms, not just single advertisements.
And you do that with robust design systems and reusable components. So instead of designing the same button 50 times,
You design it once as a component.
right. And the benefits are immense. Updates are infinitely easier. You change it once, it applies everywhere. It lets you pivot faster if the market shifts without rebuilding everything.
You're reducing your technical debt.
Massively. And critically, it makes you AI ready. Structured content integrates seamlessly with emerging tech. It's also content flexible, so it can handle a small site today and a massive enterprise platform tomorrow.
Okay, so let's look at how these 3 pillars, accessibility, performance, scalability, apply to the future, especially with AI and personalization.
The era of one-size-fits-all is ending. Fast.
AI enables these intelligent responses to user behavior, creating experiences that feel, well, uniquely tailored, but without being creepy.
We're talking about things like behavior-based content that surfaces what's most relevant to you in that moment, or predictive UX, where the site anticipates your next step and streamlines the path.
And context-aware experiences. So the site adapts to your device, your location, your time of day. The site works for the user, not the other way around.
But, and this is a critical boundary, there's the ethical check. The sources are really clear on this.
Personalization can destroy trust if it feels too intrusive.
Right. It crosses the line when it feels like surveillance. The material warns that personalization without ethics just kills trust.
So privacy-first design becomes the key competitive differentiator. Users will choose the platform that respects their boundaries.
Precisely. The true goal isn't smarter websites that know everything about you. It's more respectful ones. And that shifts the entire paradigm.
This brings us to the new role of the person building these products. The designer has evolved from being a decorator to an experience architect.
Yeah, we're strategists, system thinkers, and empathetic researchers now. And this new role comes with 5 long-term mandates.
First, stop chasing trends.
Second, invest in clarity.
Third, build structure and scalable systems.
Fourth, design with intent, serving a real user need.
And finally, fifth, always think long-term about cost and value.
The ultimate synthesis of everything we've talked about is clear. Focusing on visual polish is just a fast track to depreciation and repeated costs.
It's a never-ending spending cycle. The focus on foundation, on comfort, on a scalable structure, that's how you ensure growth and long-term viability.
Visual trends fade, but well-designed experiences, those built on accessibility, performance, and scalability, they compound value over time. That compounding effect is the true ROI.
So as you look at your next project, or maybe you're evaluating your current website, which of those 3 foundational pillars, accessibility, performance, or scalability, are you going to focus on first to ensure that strategic longevity?
Tell us your plan in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you're building your foundation for the future.